Opie friends. There is a lot I want to cover today, and I'm really upset that I'm still waking up and I'm still tired because I want everything I say to be clear and cohesive. Today is day 24 on my objective personality journey, and if you're joining me for the first time, I do come from the Myers-Briggs world where I'm trained and certified. In that world, I am an INFP all day long, and ever since I started looking into OP, I'm looking at which of the 512 personality types am I? Because to go from 16 to 512 is pretty incredible. And only 24 days in, I've received probably at least 6 different typing by different people. They are all over the place. It's been very confusing for me. One of the first videos that I ever put out there on Reddit, a few people got back to me and said, "You're definitely Savior TI." And that's weird because as an INFP, I always thought it was my FI that was my DI, but a bunch of people were saying, no, you're definitely TI. You're always talking about reasons. You're always talking about why. You're always talking about, and at the time I thought, okay, I'm going to keep an open mind to it. I'm just jumping into OP and I don't know these functions in the same way that I knew the Myers-Briggs functions. In my third video that I put out, it's called wait, I'm actually lead TI. And I go into all of the reasons why other people were seeing TI in me. I was actually quite embarrassed that I put out that video because I thought, oh gosh, I let some internet strangers convince me that I was lead TI. Since then, I've been getting other types, like 2 teams of typers, so 4 individuals total, said that I was definitely SIFI. And then I went into a whole week-long tirade of proving, okay, this is what they saw. So here's all the reasons why I must be SIFI. Now I'm embarrassed that I put out those videos. I mean, I say embarrassed, but at the same time, I'm glad I'm documenting all of this. I know you guys all went through it too, where you are convinced you are this one day, and then the next day you're convinced you're something else. And it's a whole identity crisis. It's definitely an interesting experience. Today, I am convinced more than anything that I am NETI. I'm waiting on a very well-respected team to get back to me, and just watching my video once, they said that I was most likely FESE or TESE, and that sent me for another, those are people like Jim Carrey, Chelsea Handler, and I mean, I definitely identify with a lot of their hero's journey struggles, especially Jim Carrey. What he says about nothing is real and everything is true, and depression being your avatar tired of the characters playing, all of that stuff really, really resonates with me. It always has, even prior to looking into his typing class. But I did keep an open mind to that, and I thought, okay, maybe I am TESE and FESE. I never really resonated with it, but as of today, I am strongly convinced that I am NETI. And let me explain why. I have a follower who's been following me for a while. Hi, Alex. And he's been telling me for so long, no, you're definitely the same type as me. You're definitely the same type as me. And I kind of thought, okay, I mean, that's fine. Like a lot of people say that to me too. I have people who say, oh, I'm NIFI and we're definitely the same. Or, oh yeah, I'm SIFI and we're totally the same. And so I do get a lot of messages like that. So I take them all with a grain of salt because everyone is relatable in many ways. Alex was very, very, very persistent, and he kept saying, no. He, like many others, have been officially typed by Dave and Shan, and I am always looking for proof. I want proof. And so I actually asked him, can you actually send me some of the videos where you are talking to Dave and Shan, or when they're going through your assessment? Because I want to know exactly how they are seeing it and how they are perceiving it and the reasons that they give you. He was so nice to send me one of his recorded phone calls with Shan, and it's an hour and a half long call. And I listened to it last night. My intention really was, okay, I'm going to listen to this so that I can rule it out. I started listening to it, and then as time went on, I just got more and more creeped out as to how similar we are. And I hate saying that because I've said that so many times in the past to all the SIFIs, the FESEs, saying, oh my God, I'm so similar. So I don't want this to be another one of those, but it's very, very, very scary. The thing with being an NETI that I'm a little bit uncomfortable with is that would make me an ENTP. And that is what my dad is in the Myers-Briggs world. And I know Myers-Briggs and OP type are nothing alike. They're not the same. But it's very hard for me to make that separation in my mind. I almost wish that they used different terminology altogether because it is hard to separate all of that. And for me to not identify with I'm an ENTP equals my dad, but I'm trying really hard to wash that away. In OP, I'm sure he is not an ENTP. He is totally something else because we are not alike. But if I were an NETI, an objective personality, that would make me an ENTP. And that is so weird. Okay. And by the way, I listened to this at 1 a.m. I was going to listen to it while I was going to sleep, but it got more and more and more exciting. And then I couldn't sleep. And then I started looking up, oh my God, who are other NETIs? And some people that I pulled off of the spreadsheet, I haven't watched their typing classes yet, and I need to. Some of these people are Jordan Peterson. He gets talked about a lot in the personality world, but I actually don't know who he is. So I'm going to have to go and unpack a lot of that. And then Neil deGrasse Tyson. Okay. I mean, I think he's cool. He's so smart. I mean, I think he's cool. I know who he is. I don't know too much about his work, so I'm going to have to go and watch him. And then another person that comes up is this guy named Michio Kaku, and he's also a physicist. So what is it with these physicists and astrophysicists? Like, I don't consider my mind wired like theirs in any way. Three other people that come up are Jeff Bezos, and I don't know too much about his personal life. Like, I would have to watch his videos. The other one is Edward Snowden. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And then lastly, this was my favorite one, Terence McKenna. Terence McKenna. And if you guys don't know who he is one of the notorious like founding father type figures in the world of psychedelics and psilocybin. I actually have two of his books right here. So I finished this one. This one is called True Hallucinations. Okay, this is not a book review channel, so I'm not going to talk about it, but I have two of his books here. They're excellent. I think he's amazing. So to know that I could possibly be the same personality type as him is very, very cool. So the type that my friend Alex officially got was MF, NETI, and for his animals, he got consume, play, blast, sleep. Which is interesting. I think that I am possibly the same. Let's look at the animals. So consume, play, blast, sleep. I originally thought that I was sleep consume. I thought I was a mope because I'm in my head a lot and I do a lot of the sleep reports. In the recording of my friend Alex and Shan, she talked about how people with sleep energy last, they have a whole lot of energy to the point that they can't sleep at night. And yeah, that's totally me. Nighttime is a time where my brain just turns on and wants to process and do all of these things, and I can't shut it off, and that's why I have such a hard time sleeping. Similar to last night, right? I wanted so badly to process what I just heard. It led me to wanting to pull up all the spreadsheets, wanting to watch all the videos, but I couldn't sleep until maybe 3 in the morning because my brain just wouldn't stop and it wouldn't shut up. So it's fascinating to know that I thought I was lead sleep because I'm always in this energy preservation mode and don't bother me and everything is draining. But that makes sense that if I am sleep last, then I technically have all the energy in the day that I'm not expending on processing. And therefore, because I'm saving it all to the end of the day, that is when my brain fires up and says, let's go, let's go, let's go. And that's why I feel so restless at night. And that makes sense. I've been really getting to know this consume side of me because I think I am lead consume. I am definitely most comfortable. When I say most comfortable, I mean least agitated when I am in a consuming state. So even the things that I hate to do, like exercise, running on the treadmill or washing dishes, drying my hair, curling my hair, doing my makeup, all of those routine things, I have a hard time doing it. I have to be listening to a book or a podcast or something while I'm doing it because otherwise it's too boring, it's too mundane. And the only way I release all of the agitated bitchy feelings is by consuming. And that is the way I've tricked myself into doing the things that I hate. Even when I'm brushing my teeth, even when I'm getting ready, like just those little tiny pockets of time, I will slip in my AirPods and be listening to something because I want to constantly be in a state of consuming. When I go to bed at night, I always am listening to a book. Consume is the land that I feel the most comfortable in. Also, in the phone call with Shan, she talks about how because he is lead NE, he is constantly firing out into all these different directions. And because of that, he doesn't have control over his life. And to have that consistency, that is going to be the challenge of his lifetime. And yeah, if you watch any of my past videos, I'm constantly talking about how, oh my God, I can't manage my schoolwork. Oh my God, everything's falling apart. I don't know what to do. Help me, help me. And yeah, that's definitely a problem for me. Oh, even that one video where I start crying, right, is because I don't know how to manage my things. I don't know how to manage my things. She recommends 3 books to him to get these things under control. The first book is EMyth. Probably going to look it up. The second book she recommended is 4-Hour Workweek. I read it very quickly while I was in college. I don't really remember it too much, so I downloaded it and I'm going to listen to it. And then the third book that she recommends is called Atomic Habits. And that's really funny because I literally just finished this audiobook and I loved this book so much. I remember just raving about it to my husband, saying like, oh, it's all about how if you just do one little tiny stupid habit every single day, you just let time be on your side and it compounds the habit for you. I was talking about this book as if it were this life-changing thing. Obviously, it's not occurring to me that his brain is wired totally differently and this is not life-changing news to him. I'm definitely going to check out the other books and see if it is one of those like holy sacred texts to me, because Atomic Habits definitely was. So back on the topic of NE, extroverted intuition is really just not wanting to narrow down. You don't want to narrow down. You always want to grab more possibilities, and you always want more information. And that is something that I do. Just in my last video when I talked about Brene Brown, and I started challenging the typing classes saying, no, but what if she's doing this because of this? And yeah, that's totally NE. I see that now. It's like, I don't want to go all in on this one conclusion because there's always more things to consider. And like, have you considered it this way? Have you thought about it this way? And what if she's actually doing it this way? And that's always how my mind has worked. So I get it. And another thing that comes up with NE is constant channel changing. Channel changing just means you go from one topic to the next, to the next, to the next. I am not super aware of this, and the reason I didn't think that I was NE initially is that someone in the OP community, they watched my video and said I am lead NE and I would never be able to speak cohesively about a topic like you did. I would be all over the place. And so I took that to mean, okay, so people who are savior NE really are like jump, 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 jump. And I'm not doing that too much in my videos. I think I'm pretty conscious about wanting to state my point and unpacking all the reasons why. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to have to count. Okay, channel change 1, channel change 2, channel change 3, how many times I actually am changing the channel. And another thing that people pointed out to me is that you don't use any analogies in your talking. And that, again, I don't have too much awareness of analogies, not just in myself, but other people. When people use analogies, it seems so natural to me that I don't even comprehend that they're switching into analogy land. So it's another one of those things where I wish there was like an automatic ticker counter on my videos where every time I do the channel change, every time I do the analogies, it ticks and just counts it for me, because I have a hard time picking them up. And it occurred to me that, okay, so maybe I'm not changing the channel as frequently as other Savior NEs, and that might be the TI coming in, is because TI is always looking for reasons, always looking for explanations. And for me, I am collecting all of the NE possibilities, all of the patterns, and then supporting that with reasons. I do. I seek reasons for absolutely everything. And TI is the function that's really a mind fuck to me, because I could have sworn that I was FI. So to know that I'm using logic to understand things, Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And my friend Alex also thought that he was FI, and because he thought that he was, emotional and not good enough, and for all of the reasons that I thought that I was FI as well. So she says that he is demon feeling comes out in just uncontrollable emotional outbursts and just being super grumpy and pissy. And yeah, I guess that makes sense. I always thought that I was super emotional, but I am not in control of it. I think someone who has savior or even relatively balanced feeling is going to be able to express and emote and to get their feelings out because it's just what they do. But for me, I always tend to suppress it, or it builds up to the point where it spills out into something just nasty and toxic. And this is something that now that I'm thinking about it, it correlates back to my days in therapy where as I'm talking about a lot of my issues and things, I can psychoanalyze my problems to death and explain. I can just analyze my behavior and my emotions to death, but I won't really allow myself to feel them because they're so awful and they're so painful and they're so dark. And that's one thing my therapist did say is okay, you can tear apart all the reasons for why you're doing things and why you're feeling things, but does that equal you actually feeling them and you actually going through the feelings and processing them? No. And that's super interesting. That single-handedly blew my mind, I think. I'm very open to the possibility that I am NETI. I am feminine on my TI, on my introverted decider, because I definitely know TIs in my life who are masculine TI and therefore are completely unmovable with it. So whatever logic they have built inside is this is right, you're wrong. And they cannot move away from that because their reasoning and logic that they've built inside is so unmovable. But I think for me, I am movable in it, in a sense that if someone were to introduce other reasons that change the logic that I've built inside, I welcome the change. I guess I just don't really make a big deal about it because I'm movable with it. If there's a better reason, then why wouldn't I consider that reason, right? And so I think I am a feminine TI. So I think I'm gonna refute the person that said that I was most likely an IFI. When people are asked the question, talk to me about your 10 and 20-year plan, the savior NIs are gonna, no problem, jump right into that. They want to talk about that. They want to talk about their future plans, 5, 10, 20-year plan. And when I was asked that question, I immediately said, well, like how am I supposed to know what's going to happen? Like anything can happen. That's not something that I really think about too much because life is unpredictable and chaotic anyway. And then I also said, the better person to ask would be my husband because he has spreadsheets of what we're going to be doing in 5 and 10 years. That was my way of weaseling out of the question. And so I definitely don't think that I am an I. If there is any hint of an I coming out, it might be just through the sheer influence of my husband because he is amazing at future planning. Just through his influence, I also have adopted a sensitivity toward the future, respecting it a little bit more than I had in the past. So this whole time, I thought that I was an NF hippie and I'm turning out to be an NT nerd. Like, that's crazy. I never considered myself someone who is smart or someone who is capable of academia or anything nerdy. I don't know, maybe my fascination for personality types is kind of nerdy. Cool. I don't mind being an NT. They are some of the people I look up to the most. Yeah, I mean, I've always loved NTs and I thought they were so smart and so logical and so level-headed. People like Bill Gates and Stephen Hawking, they're brilliant. And to know that I could also be an NT, it sort of unlocks stowed away compartments of confidence that I never had. And to know that if I am an NT, that I could be as knowledgeable about something as Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Gates and Stephen Hawking and Tim Cook, and like that's cool. That's cool. It makes me want to go all in on the things that I like learning about. I was the one to really just stop myself because I never thought that I was ever smart enough to go after these things. So because I had that all day golf event on Monday, I am so behind on my schoolwork this week, but all I can think about is wanting to watch these videos on NETI and just unpacking NETI. That's all I want to do, and my mind is just going to be so fixated and obsessed on that, but I have to do all this homework, and so for other NETIs out there, are you guys also like that, where if you have some type of driving curiosity, you need to quell it, you need to go after it, you need to dig and dig and dig? So that typing of NETI, consume, play, blast, sleep, it actually makes a lot of sense. I don't like narrowing down. I always want new information because what if, right? What if? Like, you could be wrong. Like, you have to explore everything. NTI is finding the reasons and the logic behind everything, and my explanations for how the world works. I'm constantly trying to put puzzle pieces together to say, this is how things are likely working. And that makes sense. And the fact that I have consume first makes sense because I am so constantly in a state of consuming. If you take the NE and the TI and the consume play, no wonder I am such an endlessly curious person. If I am curious about something, about a topic, I won't sleep. I won't eat. That's all I want to do. I need to know. I need to know. And I just want to just go into it as deeply as possible and to just understand it. Just keep more. I want more. I want more. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Huh. And even the fact that I'm saying that makes sense, right? I don't know if I'm right, but today on day 24, I feel very convinced that I am NETI, consume, play, blast, sleep. Please convince me otherwise if you think that that is not correct. But right now, I am most convinced that that is probably what I am. Is it what I expected? No. Is it what I wanted? No. It makes the most sense. So this is one of those pivotal days in my OP journey where, you know how some days you just wake up really excited because you're onto something new and you just want to explore that so badly. So that's kind of how I feel today. I've been really tired lately and not sleeping, but today I woke up very excited because I knew there was much to learn, there was much to process, there was much to dive into. Who knows, maybe a week from today, I'm going to force myself to stop right now and go into my homework, do your homework, do your homework, do your homework. I'm going to stop the video here and just shut up. Thank you for watching my ridiculous videos, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.